Think lead core line's obsolete? Well, think again. Look at those big, beautiful rainbows. I got these fish while trolling 15 to 20 feet deep, and I didn't use a downrigger. If you don't want the expense or hassle of using a downrigger, pick up one of my yellow lead core rods in the Fish Hunt Shoot Production store and get ready to yell, fish on. Just like that, baby. Fish on right there. Wow. Man, that's a nice fish. Wow, what a strike. Bam. That was 14 feet deep on an orange trolling fly. 1.8 miles an hour. Oh yeah. Right there. Whew. Oh man. Look at those big beautiful rainbows. That's what trolling flies can do. You think trolling flies don't work? Well, think again. You need to grab a set of my trolling flies, get out on the water, and get ready to go big. Yes. Howdy guys, Cal Kellogg here. It is time for a Northern California trout fishing report, and man, I've got notes, so this can be a fairly long video. Today is October 21st. I'm going to air this video tomorrow on October 22nd to kind of give you guys an idea of some spots you might go and some spots that are up and coming. But let me kind of start out with what I've been up to. That footage you saw in the beginning, that was me up at Lake Davis. We'll talk a little bit about Lake Davis in a second. That was last week. I opted to not fish this week. I have 2 deer tags and a bear tag, and this weather is not conducive to hunting. And honestly, I've got kind of poor tags. I didn't draw anything good, so I've got 2 D through 5 deer tags and a general bear tag. So yesterday, Lucy and I, we went out, we put in about 5 miles of hiking in the Tahoe National Forest, and this morning we did about 6 miles of hiking, and then we came home and took a nap in the recliner, and I'm just getting activated now. Yesterday I had some excitement. We saw 2 deer. I've seen a ton of tracks, not a ton of deer tracks. I've seen a few deer tracks. I've seen a bunch of bear tracks, and I saw like an award-winning set of cougar tracks that was walking along a trail for a long ways. Nice thing about tracks is there's no limit on them. You don't have to tag them, but the downside is they don't taste very good. So, but I love to look for tracks and just kind of see what's about. This morning I found a set of bear tracks that was obviously a mother bear and a couple cubs, some tiny little tracks. So that was cool. But yesterday we did encounter 2 deer, a doe and what turned out to be a spike. But boy, when I saw those antlers, and got the heart going, and they were close. They were like 35 yards. I was like, please let this deer have a forked horn and I will put some venison in the freezer, but no such luck. He had 1 long spike and 1 spike that was busted off. The bucks, you know, despite this heat we've been having, the bucks are getting a little ruddy, so I'm just out basically hiking, hoping I cross paths with one that's out cruising looking for does. Chances of success, not very good, but it doesn't keep us from going. So anyway, the deer season closes here in about, I think 13, 14 days, whatever. It closes first Sunday in November. So I'll stay at it, but I am going to get on the road and get after some trout because we have a very favorable change in the weather about to occur. We're about to have a big temperature drop. We may see a decline in temperatures across Northern California as much as 25 degrees by the end of the weekend, which is great. And I'm hoping that those temps stay down. I'm hoping they don't spike back up again to these hot conditions and some rain. I mean, rain would just be fantastic. Looks like we got another round of power outages coming up here. I don't know if I'm going to get hit, but it's in like 19 counties, 50,000 customers, because it's dry, it's hot, it's going to be windy. We're going to have that north wind again. And man, the woods are dangerous right now. There's no way around it. It is tinder dry. It is ready to explode into flames, as it has been for the past several months. So give us some rain. Anyway, lake temperatures are starting to drop. For example, Wes Ward was out at Collins today when I was out hiking around with Lucy. And over the past 10 days, we've noted a 2-degree drop in the surface temperature, and we're already starting to see the effects of that. When I was out there about 2 weeks ago, the bait was pinned to the bottom in 60 feet of water. There were hard marks with the bait, but nothing was willing to go. They got all the food they want. Well, with that 2-degree drop, Wes noted that the bait has lifted off the bottom now, and it's even gotten thicker, but it's lifted off the bottom. And he experienced the same type of fishing today that I experienced. He got more bites, but the only fish he landed was a bass, and he said it looked like it was pre-spawn. He said it was just as fat could be. That's because those fish have been surrounded by bait for months. As the temperature drops more, that bait is going to scatter, and those fish that, you know, were used to having all the food they wanted, they're going to be hungry. They're used to feeding every few hours, you know, max, and they're going to get very aggressive, but it hasn't happened yet. So let's start off with some trout plants. We've got some up-and-coming trout plants here in the Sierras. I looked on the DFG trout planting portal. If you Google that, you can check your local lakes and see what they're planting. You know, trout plants have been kind of restricted simply because of the water temperature. The water temperature at most places has been too warm, and they're not going to plant fish that, you know, they're not going to survive. The fact that they're planting a lake is a good barometer of what's going on in the lake for both the holdovers of wild fish, and of course the planters are going to be there. So if they're planting a lake, typically means the fishing is going to be pretty good for the wild and the holdover fish too. So coming up between October 25th and the 31st, they're going to plant Scott's Flat and Sugar Pine. That is great news. Rollins wasn't on the list. Don't know why, but it wasn't on the list. Maybe it'll show up on a list, but it's not on the list at this point. Now these lakes, I'm going to read off a list here and more, but these lakes were just planted. Fuller, Grace and Nora up there in Shasta County. Those are really just ponds. If you've never fished them, they're just cool little ponds. They got reeds and lily pad type stuff, and they are full of trout, especially after they've been planted. So Grace and Nora, they've been planted. Halsey Forebay here in Auburn's been planted. Jackson Meadows, Eagle Lake, Sardine Lake, Lake Shasta, and some other waters, you know, Sacramento River above Lake Shasta has been planted, stuff like that. So they're starting to plant trout. That means the temperature is getting into the range that's good for trout fishing. So that's great news. So let's move on to the hot bites. And I'll start with Davis. And then we're going to move into some other lakes, but we'll start with Davis. I was at Davis for 2 days. The fishing was very good. The fish were a little tentative. Again, the water temperature was higher than I'd like to see it. Most of the fish I caught were down in the 16, 18, 20 foot range. That was the best depth. There were definitely fish up top. I couldn't really get those surface fish to go. They were eating insects, some little small stuff, but they weren't really interested in any kind of hardware. I couldn't even get them to go on a worm, so, you know, go figure. Orange flies was a hot ticket for me up there, and I was really limited to the area south of the island over kind of the main channel. The rest of the lake was really, really weedy, and I am not a scientist, but I would not take my dog. I left Lucy at home. I would not take my dog to Davis right now. I'll post up a still picture I took at the boat ramp. Now this picture was taken with the north wind blowing, but that looks like blue-green algae to me. I don't know if it's in a toxic phase or not. Bottom line, I wouldn't take any chances with my dog. I love that dog like she's my child. So if you love your dog, blah, 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 I wouldn't take my dog to Davis. The trout, the ones that I kept, the meat was red, very nice. I ate one for dinner. I got some frozen, some fillets frozen that I'm gonna end up smoking. I'm not real stoked about running the smoker in these dry conditions, especially if it's breezy. Even right now it's breezy, and You know, I know it's a low probability, but I just don't want one of those embers to, for whatever reason, blow out of my little Chief smoker and, you know, burn down my house. That would be a bummer. So anyway, when the weather cools off or after we get some rain, look forward to me doing some smoking trout tutorials. But for now, those fillets are safely in the freezer. They're just fine in there. And I got enough for a batch or two, and it's going to be yummy because that was pretty high quality meat there that I was getting out of those trout at Davis. So Davis, very productive. It's going to get a whole lot better, but for now, very productive. The other very exciting bite local here to the Sacramento area is Folsom Lake. That king bite is holding up. Kevin Schultz was out there yesterday, and he had a limit of kings. They were pretty good sized fish. Looked like he had a couple in that 20-inch range. He had one dark fish, which is unique in a lake. You know, you don't see dark fish in a lake very often. So I thought that was just kind of cool. Speedy shiners, speed spoons, that's the kind of stuff you want to pull. Troll fast, 40 to 60 feet deep. Main body, same place they've been all summer. They're out there. They're biting. There's some bonus trout mixed in. The trout bite hasn't got going at Folsom yet, but it will. It's got to get cooler, obviously. But that king bite, it is the real deal. I mean, Kevin, thumbs up to him. He got a limit of kings out of Folsom, and that's not easy. That's not easy at all. It's like going out here and tagging a deer, just some random spot in a Tahoe National. Not easy, but he got it done. So thumbs up to Kevin. So that's a great local bite. Watch out for your prop out there. The lake's dropping. You know what that means at Folsom. You got those big granite pillars out there. Not the time to be running around blind. You know, you'll break your lower end of your motor. Covered Davis, Folsom, Lake Tahoe. It's a pain to launch up there. You can jump on a boat with the folks from Tahoe Sport Fishing. The fishing is very good. Mackinac limits, steady all day, every day. Fish down 2 to 4 pounds, range up to 11. There are a lot of bonus trout mixed in. My buddy went up there, he got a 25-inch brown, fishing out of a kayak. There's some big rainbows in the mix too. It's cool up there. It's gonna get a lot cooler. Tahoe, it's beautiful in the fall. You got the colors, you got the whole deal going on. I love the Tahoe Basin. It's been too long for me. I need to get up there, but I haven't been traveling much with the virus and, you know, business obligations and blah, blah, blah. But if you're looking to get away, looking to get in a cool environment, catch some nice fish, Tahoe, man, it's awesome. Other lakes that are going off right now, Jackson Meadows, big cutthroats, big rainbows to about 3.5 pounds, cutthroats, you know, beyond 20 inches, very good. That is power trolling, speed spoons, speedy shiners, trigger spoons, needlefish, humdingers, stuff like that. Mix in a Rapala, mix in a maglip, stay on the move, work the central part of the lake, surface all the way down to 30 feet deep or deeper, chase those marks. Fishing's best early. Early in the morning is when the better quality fish are biting, but you can hook fish all day. There are a lot of 10 to 12 inch planters in the mix, which they can be annoying at times, but if you get down in the water column, they seem to be up closer to the surface. The better fish are down in the water column, and again, early in the morning is the time. First 90 minutes to 2 hours at daylight, that's the window. That's when you want to be there. You want to troll hard, no wasted motion. That's when your good fish are going to bite. Moving down the list here, French Meadows. The number, I talked to Craig at Will Fish Tackle in Auburn, talked to him yesterday. I was picking up some supplies for upcoming trips. He said the numbers have dropped. You know, the guys aren't catching the numbers, but they're catching some very nice fish up to about 25 inches on the browns, and that's a very nice brown. There's a lot bigger browns in French Meadows, but if you go up there and get a 25-inch brown, you've done something. So that's a very good fish. 18-inch fish, 16-inch fish, pretty common. So, you know, hopefully the snow's going to fly soon, but it looks like October and November are going to be very good at French Meadows. The lake level's down. The second ramp on the back is pretty much out of the water, or nearly so. If I was launching a boat, by all means, launch the first ramp. Second ramp, kayak, no problem. So that's kind of the story there. Eagle Lake is getting better daily. It's going to get a lot better with this cold snap probably. We're inching into a full moon period, and that always has a pretty profound impact on Eagle. post full moon, I think we can expect great things up there. I talked to Tim Noxon. He's getting fish anywhere from 2.5 to 4 pounds on a variety of different offerings. He's pulling worms and grubs and flies. He's moving around. He's one of the local experts up there. Him, Val Aubrey, who lives there, and of course the great Brian Rakucci, Big Daddy's Guide Service. He'll be showing up there probably in November when it's freezing cold and the fish are up shallow, because he likes to take guys out there fly fishing for him. But it is starting to get more consistent. There have been 5-pounders caught, so I think we're going to have good fishing up there next week. But I think post full moon, we're going to have a lot of excitement. Pyramid Lake is going to open for business for fishing on November 2nd. So if you're a Pyramid guy, you got to be excited about that. If you haven't heard that, you heard it here. So get those licenses, get out there, get after those big cutthroats. They haven't seen a lure in a long time. So I'm thinking it's going to be pretty darn good. We shall see. But I think we're going to see some pretty epic pictures coming out of Pyramid Lake. Elminor. It's a size game at Elminor. The fishing's heating up. They still have a ton of pond smelt to feed on. You got to stay on the move. Flies are working. Hardware, spoons. When it gets slow, the gulp minnows are working. Put in your time and you're going to hook your fish. Rainbows to 4 pounds, really common right now. Browns up 6-7 pounds, pretty common. Brian Rakucci had a brown that looked to be about 10 pounds this week. He released it. So the browns are starting to do their fall thing up there at Elminor. Elminor is never easy for me. It's easier for Brian, or at least he makes it look easy. But if you want to get onto a big trout, now is the time. That's another one of those places where the snow is going to start to fly at some point and access is going to be difficult. But until then, it's going to be dynamite fishing at Elminor. It's only going to get better, and I may make an appearance up there soon. I would like to get into some big fish here before I start guiding at Collins Lake. I'm hoping to be guiding pretty much daily, which isn't going to allow me to drive up Lake Elminor anytime I want. So we'll see what happens, but I would love to hit Elminor. Love those big trout. Love that lake. Just awesome. Same thing with eagle. I'd love to hit eagle, and I'm definitely going to hit eagle this year. I haven't fished it in a number of years, but I'm going to commit to hitting eagle. Moving on, Shasta, slow, bite, still sputtering. The lake's in transition. The transition can be long at Shasta in the fall. We should have dynamite action at some point in November. No guarantees, but if it cools off and maybe we get some rain, maybe we get some wind to mix the water column up a little bit, the trout are going to get aggressive. They're going to get up towards the surface. You're going to be able to troll structure. You're going to be able to hit a lot of rainbows and some browns. We'll see what happens. I may head up there in late November / early December if I get a chance to get away. And I'm expecting great things at Shasta. It hasn't been good. There's a lot of fish in there, and when they get on the bite, it's going to be pretty epic. It always is at Shasta. And then I got a note here. It says other foothill lakes, Stumpy, Collins, stuff like that. They're not planning those yet. The temperature is dropping weekly at those lakes, and it's going to drop a lot this weekend. But right now, those are all in wait and see mode. But I have a feeling that when places like Collins bust loose, Comanche, when those places bust loose, Comanche, they're not planting yet. They'll start planting in November. I think they had one fish planted at Elminor. When those places bust loose, I think we're going to have a ton of action to choose from. Down in the Mother Lode region, both Maloney's and Don Pedro are kicking out some really nice rainbows. You got to get down in the water column. You're going to have to use your downrigger to get after those fish, but they're there, they're biting. Those are 2 more spots. When the water cools off and those fish move up to the surface and you can work this structure, main lake structure, structure in the arms, it's just, there's nothing like it. It's epic fishing for big, heavy holdover fish that have been deep in the water column all summer, eating shad, eating all the shad they want, putting on weight, and when they come up, when those shad start to disappear, you know, the cold water, it causes them to scatter and it kills off some of them. And fish that were super finicky today, they're not going to be so finicky in the future because they're not going to have the forage base that they're used to having access to. And that's when you want to show them those speed spoons, speedy shiners, the rapalas, the maglips, all that kind of stuff. Stuff that really rings the dinner bell, something that looks substantial, you're going to be yelling fish on. And all this hot weather we've had, and this long, prolonged August doldrums that is, continued into late October is going to be forgotten. So anyway, that's about the size of it for now. I am hoping to put a tag on a deer. I am not super optimistic, but I'm going to keep on trying as much as I can. But I am going to try to get away when I can here, because I want to get in on some epic Northern California trout fishing, at some of those lakes. I love Elmonor and Eagle and Frenchman's Davis, all that kind of stuff. You know me, I want to get up and hit those lakes. I am probably going to begin guiding at Collins maybe the first or second week of November. I got to see when I can go up there and consistently pop fish. That's when I'm going to put the word out, and we'll get after them. I don't want to offer boat rides. I want to do instruction on biting fish, and just driving around is no fun if we're not hooking something. So anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on that. Until then, you have a great day. I want to thank you guys for all the support. If you're looking to gear up for some fall trout fishing, you know where to go, fishhuntshoot.com. It's starting to happen, guys, and I am I've said it, a dozen times here on this video, I am very hopeful that this cold snap is really going to put the foot on the accelerator. I know we got some lean days coming up in this full moon period. I'm about to do a video about moon phases, but we probably got some lean days coming up, due to the full moon. Don't let that keep you off the water though, but just know, if we get this cold snap and then it doesn't get really hot again, I think post full moon, we are in for some super exciting trolling type action. Anyway, I'll see you here next time on YouTube, guys. Thanks for all the support, and you have a wonderful day.